This is the dream we had back at that old school champions that they won. It almost feels like we never left.
No, well, Zipan, right away, he's going to be taking some space, but no fight for him on the other side. A paranoia was used to get him up into heaven, a smoke to get him down towards vents. They're splitting mid in the early round. Maybe not. Where's this guy going? A very strange pistol, but he has found a wide open gap in this defense. This could be a big problem for them.
Oh, well, if it's not a big problem for them, they have eyes in the back of their head. Oh, they actually might push through, though. Doesn't matter. The aggressive spot, and I think they may have even seen Zipan coming behind. I think they've just turned back around waiting for him. Just a split second as Wolfen just spotted him in towards that spawn. And there was a moment where it looked like it was all over in this pistol round for Koi. Well, I think it's all over for Navi. His jet's pretty good, though.
Oh, it can be.
1v5, kick things off.
With 70 HP left. It's going to be a little bit easier to take down Trax, maybe Shados as well, but well, they've got a solution to that. Look at the firing squad we're seeing lined up in heaven. Deviating from the plan slightly. Starzo knows it's CNET on the other side. That's a battle he wants to claim. And they've got the info.
30 seconds
Flash
left.
soon to follow. There it is, and the battle ensues in vents. Starzo winning it, and Koi having a flawless start to this map. Incredible stuff from this squad. And you know, really, they had to cause chaos in order for Zipan to take advantage of it, and well, they weren't able to make a dent in this defensive side.
Yeah, it's worth noting, obviously, we saw a split literally not long ago, and it was a relatively even first half, and then it was this really aggressive defensive side that came out from Koi that made things very difficult for Navi to play against. Like, there was constant pressure, they were utilizing their own smokes and then flashing out of them to basically have these hyper-aggressive defensive side rounds. Now, with a double duelist for Navi, you kind of expect that same level of pace. And especially when you don't actually have any other flashes other than the one that's coming in for Angel. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to have those late rotations because the utility just won't be there.
Yeah, and flashes on the other side, so important for Starzo. We've seen this guy all season long just look incredible. Since him and Trax divvied up the roles a little differently, Koi have been a formidable foe for anybody mounting up that other side. Navi, I mean, they saw a gap in heaven on the pistol round. Understandable that they start to move towards this position. No investment into the paranoia as we saw starting out the round. It's sheriffs across the board, bar Sugetsu. It does give them good potential to do some damage. And right now, I think they're just pumping the brakes, hoping that as they take some control, it'll be sought after. A little jump peek from Trax, even gets a nade through, landing at their feet as well, forced up into heaven. And now they know exactly what's going on that Navi side. They shouldn't be overextending into these fights.
Yep, a chance potentially for Warman to just basically farm up those orbs. Easy pickings for him, and well, Xiao will at least get one. And he's another player worth highlighting. Like we've had pretty much everybody else making their way to an international event, or qualifying to an international event. I should premise that. He did go to lock-in, they didn't leave him behind. So realistically, he should have the most pressure on him here, but we've seen over the LCQ, he has gone from being, I hate to say it, maybe the worst duelist in the entire league, to right now looking like a formidable force. Maybe a bit quieter when it came to their match versus Giants, who did well to shut him down, but in this double duelist, this 1-2 punch of him and Trex, he needs to be popping, and to see him just get those few early kills, get the confidence brewing, that's a good sign.
And they managed to save over that weapon as well, having just the ghost on Starzo last round paying dividends. The economy's very healthy for Koi right now. They can afford many losses coming into this round, which is of course their bonus. Plenty of weaker weapons backing up the one rifle on Trax in the form of the Phantom.
That's the thing though, I feel like on split, that's okay.
Yeah,
like there's so many close angles, you kind of get away with it a little bit more.
Well, there's a long-range angle for Trax. He's got the right rifle to do the job, but the players have forced him back with utility. And Koi are content to play a retake. Retake up against all these weapons, but they've got so much utility to fight their way back through. Key point being the flash to start it out, but nothing has gone according to plan on this one. The downside of having those weaker weapons, Starzo now has to do it all, and even the rifle ain't going to be enough. A clean response from Navi, but that was very much just a testing ground. Now the rifles come out for Koi.
Yeah, there's kind of what you expected. Wolfen straight away going to have that operator, but the orbs have been split or very, very early on. In fact, actually, Zipan's come out of this with the most, which is quite interesting considering they've only won themselves a single round. But it does mean that there's not likely to be any ultimates for the side of Koi that are going to be able to change this one. So the fact that they've come in with heavy weaponry is a good sign. The fact is, though, looking at the initial positions of NAVI, they're building in towards what could be quite a fast-paced A-site hit.
Well, as the barriers go up, it's certainly not going to be at the start of the round. They take their time, Cage is down, but the Flash gets the info as they cross. No chance of Koi rotating out of this position. They'll look for a fight. Players around Vent to help out. Flash already used. CP across. It's an angel move with the spike as well. He's dropped it eventually as he goes walkabouts into the spawn. Someone else is going to have to take that and lead it back around. A big fight for Angel now with 2 players peeking him, and he will not win that. They were aware of the control that was given up. But now for NAVI, they are lost. They've got no smokes really to play with on their way back through. Cages are used in everything.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like now trying to sort of segment this is going to be very difficult indeed. They have control that maybe they shouldn't have, but it seemed like they were boxed in. Instead, well, the trade's going effectively, and that spike has dropped the deck again.
Wolfen's on the way as well with the operator. It's going to be very hard to pick this spike back up and make your way back to the site. Did Wolfen just dash down below? He swapped it out, using the rifle now instead. He really wants a fight. Being so close to the Blade Storm maybe plays a role, but he's ended up going down. And Shados up against Xiao. Still spike to be retrieved. Time could be a factor. And Shados, he's rotating. They'd spotted him in spawn not that long ago. This angle, already you can see on the mini-map, it's not expected. Xiao might be caught completely unaware, but the timing is good. He's just about crossed towards the site. Shados has to sneak up on him, but he's going to get there just in time. A 3rd kill in this round, and a 3rd round for Koi.
You can already see counterparts getting hyped up. He knows how important those sort of clutch rounds can be, especially when you have the likes of Xiao and Zipan on the other side, who made a round that probably shouldn't have been competitive look that way very, very quickly. Putting this at a 3-1 scoreline for them. And again, like as we said, like they could definitely put up rounds over on that attack with this sort of composition. They'll probably face the same issues that NAVI have done, but I'm still kind of sat here and just looking at those initial stages of the round. Like we know that Angel likes to take space. We know that he likes to almost command, normally from the grave, but just having those smokes completely missing and him being the one cutting off rotations, it just doesn't seem worth it.
Showstopper this round to entry, and they're wise to it on the side of Koi, but still Trex goes down. They left the site wide open to give them the space. The punishment comes through. That's a big kill. Blade Storm popped for CNET. Now they've got some info on the players up top. Do they pursue it with a player caught in the corner? No way. They're going to let him slip away. Even a fight on to Starzo that's won. Zipan's round right here. He's gone and he's killed. And the rest of the team, well, they want nothing to do with this. Koi already calling for the save.
This is why we were singing his praises when he picked this agent last time out, just going, okay, Zipan back on the raise. This is the agent we want to see him on. They got battered. And he was, I think he was their best player, but with 14 kills, well, he is already on 8, and we're going into round number 6 after this. So, you know, he's having a very, very good start to this match, and that's a great sign for NAVI, because I definitely think some of those players over the last week or so have gone missing. Like we had a series where Saigetsu looked poor, came back yesterday, was fantastic. Even Xiao at times has looked quiet, which never really happens. But Zipan, looking good, getting a freebie to start with, and then even having the cleanup towards the end. This is putting them in a good early spot, a couple of rounds already on the attack.
Well, yeah, his confidence building up. It's going to be key for this squad. We've already seen the first 5 rounds play out. He's 8-3 right now. If he can keep that up, we're going to have a whole lot more showstoppers to follow through on. Big round for Koi. One away from 2 big ultimates, and they've got the Seekers to help them. A push up from Wolfen, though. And I think they might just be ready for this. Xiao's going to certainly spot them with the Prowler, the spam on the way back, but Dash gets him out.
Yeah, now he can juggle that weapon over. Was basically just trying to give himself a chance if they were to fire back. Mid-control being battled for, but it has been spotted. Utility just to delay the taking of any of that space, but, well, Angel doesn't care.
Yeah, well, look, I feel like I'm back in 2020 seeing this man just teleport in towards the vents. It's crazy to keep an eye on this guy's opening duels, and well, that one's not gone according to plan. Immediately shut down by the Blade Storm, earned up at the start of this. NAVI down to a 3 versus 5. And Koi, well, they can sit pretty, sit tight, and let NAVI make the next move.
Yeah, that's so rough. This is a round as well where just the 2 rifles saved. Everything else for Koya was looking weak. That Blade Storm collected at the beginning of the round, and now you've already seen the difference. It's just, can they take this over the line? One of those guns set up and ready. Coldamenta patiently waiting, maybe not so patiently, but he has support from those blades. Seen it though. He's managed to just do the same the other way around. The jet popping off alongside Saigetsu, and somehow they have an advantage.
That one was a blink and you miss it. Even the Blade Storm to initiate, Wolfen had been hitting every shot so far. But not up against this man. Now, Starzo and Shados left to clutch it, 1 away from a Viper's Pit. A kill for Shados could be everything. Could be a way back through. Flash hasn't even caught CNED. He's good for another fight. And 3 kills on the board. Shados just spotted him, trying to find his teammates, and the info fell into his lap eventually. What a response from Navi, and a 3v5.
I will say, if he plays Jet every map of this series and they win, I'm gonna just be so angry.
I told you so.
He's just gonna be sit there going like I get it. Like, it's better if he can play loads of different agents, but there is a reason why everybody just wants him to play Jet, and it's because he could just take like that again looked like another round where I'm like, nah, Koya probably got this. They've got double entries straight off the bat. They've still got a Blade Storm. They've got a couple of rifles, and then CNED.
Yeah, I feel like Lothar might agree with you there about the agent swaps. He's not a big fan of the old Sage. And I feel like he's going to be calling back to this for quite a while to come. I told everyone.
Yeah, wait until he plays Reina next map and gets 40 kills.
They're lined up, but it doesn't seem to matter. The 1-to-1 trade for the B site starts out well. Yeah, 30 HP on CNED. It's not ideal. Angel getting aggressive up top. Is he going to continue it or just occupy the rafters? No, he's dropping all the way down.
It does make you nervous, doesn't it? You kind of just look at CNED and go, what's the plan? What's he going to do next? They're still within this Viper's Pit, though. They're waiting for a lurk to come back through, and Saigetsu is waiting for the pit to go down. Faith in his teammates to hold the line, and for now, that's exactly what they're doing.
They're still staying in the pit, even as the side push begins. The showstopper certainly helps with Trex doubling up, looking for the triple on backside. The trade should be easy now, though, down to 14 HP, and Saigetsu's lurk, the last remaining hope for this squad, smoked off the spray, decent damage done, actually stopped the defuse. He might even be good for more if Shados wasn't a little quicker. The wallbang headshot to save the round for Koi. 45 left on Starzo. I mean, that was so close to a kill.
A little bit unlucky. I think an extra bullet or two and he takes down that player, but again, you're seeing the style. This, for me, it really does just give me old school flashbacks to this map. Maybe you would have to throw a Reina in there for it to truly be the old school split, but it's so explosive. Just any moment, one of these 4 duelists seems to be able to take over the round. The initial battle of Wolfen and CNED, and then Trex just almost solo retakes. The rest of the players still looking for flanks, waiting to see what he can do, and almost single-handedly wins them the round. I think Coldamenta had a judge.
Not the ideal range for that kind of weapon. Certainly not a battle that you would want to take up against an operator, but
he was just expecting to get behind the box and just sit there and just gets owned.
And another victim of the attack side operator coming through. CNED making a case for it here on the Jet. We often talk about how your Jet's going to struggle on the attack. You're open in space. I guess that's what you got Angel for. And CNED can focus a little more on just hitting those shots. It's a great push by Trex. A great position, and he's got the spike for his trouble. Avoided the shot of CNED too. But he won't be able to hold on to that control for too much longer. He's got to let it slip. Surely.
He's waiting for his teammates, who's slowly running round. Can he get anything more? He can! Trex, so confident in these fights, but eventually will go down. And now they know where these remaining players are going to be. Information had, but both on that rotation back. Starzo's going to get pinged up, left into the 1v3. First goes his way, but can't get anything more. Quick response from the side of Navi. This back and forth continuing. And again, it just seems to be the battle of the duelists. Such a fun match.
To kick it off, definitely. And seeing those duelists light up on the attack side, we don't know what we're going to see when we swap over.
He didn't even go out. He just jump picked it. I thought he was trying to get behind the box, but it was more so just CNED is so fast to the reactions that he didn't even get a chance.
The idea there being he'll take an extra second to get to the box. I'll just check that it's clear first. Oh, it's not clear, guys. See what this op's going to be up to now. I don't think we'll be watching anyone else at the start of a round for quite a while with the way CNED's been popping off. really does look like we've rewound time for the side of NAVI, and while they couldn't have a better outcome considering what recent memory has been like for them. Wolfen also tagged up early, and there's a lot of weaker weapons for Koi here, so you don't want to see anyone going to take that space all too quickly.
Right now, it almost looks like CNED is commanding where he wants to go on the map, and the rest of the team are just holding everything else. Like, he's just, look at the setup. Right now, you've got the full Cypher setup, and CNED just walked through his own teammate's setup. And then on the other side, they were putting Prowlers through. Now, the defense have decided, okay, we need to take some space of our own, especially around like this. SMGs, pistols, you have to take some risks. And right now, their risks have got them close to CNED. But as you said, CNED is the ruse.
This is one for a Talon Strider, the push and pull in this round, giving up mid control for NAVI, faking it out towards a couple of steps to sell the info, and then they walk right back as the rotations were sold. Koi, not knowing what they'd walked into, what they're walking into. Sugetsu dropped after just one shot, not going to connect for the kill. Now there's some serious danger here. All of a sudden, Koi are actually competing. Not just that, dominating in these duels, putting it down to the 2v4 and off on the way back through. A Bladestorm in the open. He's just too quick, but he needs two more. The op saves him for one, and low HP on both players now. An op reload for CNED. He's trying to get over the box and he couldn't escape. Trex tracks him down for the 5th round of Koi.
Oh my god. I thought for a second he was about to do some sort of like 360 updraft, drop down, no scope.
He tried.
Like,
He tried and he was down close.
Sometimes you just wonder. Like, it's like they're like, what's going on inside his head?
I love
like,
the replay, man. He just casually like takes a sip of his drink. No emotion behind those eyes whatsoever. It's incredible.
It's just ridiculous as well. Shots connected. This to pull out the Bladestorm after the initial shot, still landed. But it's Coldamenta, the hero of this round, managing to get a multi-frag with the pistol and alongside that the SMG. It seems like no round right now is safe. Like that's the weird thing of this match thus far is if you have pistols, you have SMGs, you have a Bladestorm, anything can turn on its head, and for that reason, we're gonna see a pause.
Yeah, I think time for both teams to take a breather here. Playing the emoji game down the bottom. Timeout NAVI. It's on your screen. Waving to the microphone. Hello casters, hello chat.
I think so.
That's
yeah.
where we're at.
I think so. It's basic stuff.
I've heard the challenge is going to be gradually increasing as the day goes on,
yeah,
Tom.
You know.
So
same for the players.
See who gets the most point. Well, you'd imagine so. As time goes on in this BO5 series, I mean, we've seen what it's like for teams going late into the night after waiting around for the first series. Now they're basically playing the first series and the second. It's a different ballgame and a challenge that these teams won't really be used to.
That's the thing as well. It does look like both teams have picked into what they believe is their strongest map. So Split, obviously, last time out was a really dominant looking victory coming out of the side of Koi. They felt confident in that second half especially. Obviously, they did even better when they played on Lotus, but maybe believing that Na'Vi have fixed some of their problems, and then Na'Vi going to get Pearl off. So these first couple of maps, you kind of expect to go the way of the person who chose them, but Na'Vi thus far have kept this close.
Even with the blast pack, he barely makes it out. And a push up by Angel, again, going to be caught. On one hand, applauding Koi for catching those again and again, but look at the difficulty it's going to create for this Na'Vi squad. They have taken Heaven and look to fight from here. No smoke for screens as they make their way through. Maybe a cloud burst at best as the showstopper tries to section these players out. And in fact, it has just pushed them entirely off the site. Aziz too late landing in screens. It's going to have to be a full retake.
And they don't have much to play with. I'm looking at Trex though. A single kill for him. We saw what that could do with the showstopper last time out. Xiao has taken so much damage. An extra bullet spammed into that wood could kill him off, but instead, he might just be sneaky. He's helped out Saigetsu to at least manage one, but even still, this advantage sticks with Koi that little bit longer. He's still going strong though, and has Zipan alongside him. Neither particularly close to that spike, but Saigetsu trying to take the elevated angle, and while both players of Koi landing their shots.
I love the ideas there from that attacking squad. They wait for the retake to come underway. The fact that Xiao sits up next to the wall, he got spammed down. You saw him second, even third, guess it. He was going to fall back down. He said, no, they've spammed this many bullets. They won't spam anymore. And on 16 HP, sure, he doesn't get a lot done, but it's about creating that crossfire with Sugetsu. It's about waiting for the wall from Shados to go down so Zipan could participate. you might have had a 3-man swing if it wasn't for that Viper wall. But ultimately, Koi prevail, and they've gotten out of it in a very good position. We saw the showstopper used by NAVI to no avail, just claiming them site control. A good CC for sure, but it's about Trex now, who's got his own rocket launcher to play with.
Oh, they're playing off contact as well. Nade going to be out. Flash is actually going to blind CNED after the fact, and they have Seekers and showstopper for the late round if needed. For now, though, just looking to see if they can reclaim some of that ground back towards B. A bit more of a passive hold from the likes of Koi. Sure, they're still battling for that mid control, but it's much further back.
We've seen NAVI double back after selling this same fake information on mid before. I'm not surprised that Koi haven't really repositioned all too much. As I say, that Trex does start to come through and reinforce the A site. Might be here a little too late. Comes off the cages landing initially, but never mind being too late. He is perfectly in time, and the rocket fired through. Catches Xiao, thinning out the herd of NAVI with CNED falling. This round seems to be all but over. The nade, well, it's too shallow. The bullets will land to finish him off. Nobody falling on the side of Koi, and with just 1 round left in the half-time, it looks like NAVI are stumped.
Yeah, it seems like, again, as you mentioned, they're trying to pressure into mid, trying to pressure a little bit into B to sort of bait rotations. But for the side of Koi, they've been so good at getting the reads, and they haven't really been pulling players off because nobody has been forced back. Like, you had all of that Viper utility in mid, you had the likes of Shados basically just, oh, no one here, I'm spamming through the smokes, don't need to rotate. The same with their B aggression. Flash is going through from Starzo to make sure, and it meant that Trex was ready and waiting on that A site as they look to push through. This round, well, it's an investment, of course, for the side of NAVI, but a couple of Sheriffs, definitely not ideal. And again, already got a lot of information about the outside of A. This causes a mass rotation from Koi.
Sugetsu knows they broke that trap. He even heard that it was the Tiger doing it. They want nothing to do with a fight outside of A. Moving in towards Heaven. Goldamenta, he hasn't really fought from this angle, typically just been shoulder peeking and grabbing the info. This time, though, with players on the site, he had to hold it a little wider. They're not ready for Trex to be here, too. But Zipban's also caught them off guard. Big round for the Rays players. As they look for more impact on the B side, Trex will fall. They know that there's an op stuck in the back, and it's all too easy for CNED with him updrafting away from the nade. A clutch attempt by Shados and a firing squad beckoning him in. Very nicely played by NAVI. They've hit 5 rounds on the attack, and that should be enough.
It's difficult to tell.
Got a pistol under your belt?
Like, it's not a bad resurgence in the half, obviously. Like, it's started to look a little bit better than we saw in some of maybe the earlier rounds. But bear in mind, last time out, it was a sort of similar story with them having a pretty decent first half, and then it was obviously Koi dominating in the second. Now, that second was their defensive half last time out, so it's a little bit different this time. But at the same time, they still managed to pull off a 6-6 half on their attack. Like, they have proven that the more direct approach, the support that you can have between Wolfen and Trex, with Starzo popping them in with the flashes, it could be very difficult to play against. And that's where I do feel like I agree with PM, what he was saying on the desk, is like the difference between that Sky and the Fade on this map, it doesn't really seem to be quite as effective. And we've seen that when they're trying to almost bait things out on their attack side, but it means you can't have those sort of bursty retakes on the way back through. You don't have the sort of flashes other than the paranoia, which a lot of the time you're not going to save throughout the entirety of the round. But it also means if you want to go for some aggressive set plays, it's that little bit more risky.
Be curious to see how NAVI begin this side with 2 duelists popping off on the attack. You have to imagine some tempered aggression could go a long way to putting Koi on the back foot as they move on through. In a high-stakes game, maybe where some teams would start to second-guess it. Some teams would play more reserved, but well, when you're being helmed by a man like Angel, who's, I think he's gone through the half with 1 kill, that didn't deter him. He was still happy to be the first man through every single time.
I'm sure there's already somebody out there like counting his first deaths, ready for the tweet. The tweet that will probably get them quite a few likes, but maybe. Angel doesn't care. He'll quite retweet it all the same.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. He just said what, like, I'm a good example of what not to do. You should show this to your players and say, don't do this.
Hey, it's easier to in-game lead when you're dead.
It's true. That's all he's
going for, yeah. Wow. Wow. He was the clutch king. He was never dead. What do you mean? At least in Valorant.
It's AFK, more so.
But nonetheless, getting in towards the second half, I do think that Koi are likely to put that pressure on early. And you have to bear in mind that, again, like on the other side of things, you have that Viper, you have that Astra, a lot of delaying utility. Sure, Saigetsu is going to be under serious pressure, and he struggled in their last match, but also you're going to need Angel for that delay. He can't be going down instantly like he was before, and their retakes are going to be much more difficult if that doesn't work out for them. So I do think this could be a troublesome scoreline, because Koi are not going to be slouches when it comes to this attack.
Yeah, like I said, Angel basically playing that jet on attack, more or less, the traditional role of creating your space. With it being him, he probably will do the same thing on defense, but it's not what we'd expect. Little camera up top. It's a sneaky position as well. I mean, that's going to catch him on the way through. They've heard it. Oh, and they've caught Saigetsu! Wolfen knows that lineup a little bit better. He was more than ready for that swing.
Yeah, just a little pre-fire. I think he also took some hefty damage back in response, but they're not going to mind too much. And after what is a large rotation out from the side of NAVI, I think they've realized, okay, they're actually not going to push off this. The Viper wall obviously spotted over on that A site, maybe expected to be a ruse initially, but NAVI have read this well. 3 players in the right place at the right time, and they're going to actually aggress deep into ramp. Risky to say the least, but they have to take a risk, a man down.
Oh, it's Angel catching them crossing, but he's not able to deliver on it on the site. A lone man of Xiao stands, trying to get some support with Zipan from above, now smoked out. Angel's able to creep up behind, grab one. Zipan more than good, and Xiao certainly had more support than it seemed when this take began. Goldamenta, the last man to the party, and the spike is down in the open, next to irretrievable. 20 seconds on the clock, and 4 very healthy opponents to take down if he wants the win for his squad. See how much he can do, and oh, player with his back turned almost took him down. That was a rough one if you're a Koi fan.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is probably going to be underrated from this take was Xiao's utility. Like, he gets a seize that catches Wolfen as he dashes into the site and stops him being wrapped on. Like, he's unable to... That's the player that's normally going to go all the way through and come in from behind.
Yeah.
And then he throws out Haunt as well, and that pings Wolfen, and Zipan gets the kill. So it's his 2 piece of utility, well, there you go, that is just the freest couple of kills for the players above, and then you see Xiao pounce that a little bit later on. His utility doing the initial work, and then his teammates and himself being able to hit the timing on that play. Something we are always going to marvel at, and it's the one good thing about having that fade is that Xiao is maybe the best, if definitely one of the best at playing that agent in the world.
Well, moving to their defense, 5 rounds first half, now a pistol under their belt. Definitely not a bad start for NAVI. Koi down to just pistols. And this is where things can get dangerous based on what we saw the first time around. But on the attack, it is typically a little bit harder to get that value out of these pistols. I thought Angel was going to go pushing down through mid up against the Eco. He only has a Ghost, but it would be a little bit unhinged.
Oh, only a little bit. Well, that's well within...
On brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, luckily, he has decided to fall back slightly.
I miss the Angel Cypher on this map. Just the most unhinged trips you'll ever see in your life. Just like pointing directly into the sky and just only used to catch off the weirdest of positions. 40 seconds left now, though. So Koi were clearly expecting some aggression themselves. Somebody facing off against him. You are up against the double duelist and Angel, so it's kind of expected in that regard. Angel will be the first point of contact. He gets headbutted. Unfortunately, that doesn't do any damage. But the nade of Trex does for Zipan, though, again. Just easy cleanup, and Xiao will level up that scoreline. It is a close first map, and again, as said, this is Koi's pick. You don't want your first pick within a series to be close. That's the map you want to just blast them out of the server. Right now, NAVI on that defensive side have the chance to take the lead, and Mitch, their bonus round is actually pretty good.
Pretty good is somewhat of an understatement. This is a full buy. I mean, in essence, that's what they're coming in with. Light shields, that's what their opponents have too. For the most part, we're going to see a very hotly contested round from this defense. And I don't know if Koi will be ready for quite this. Oh no, look at the corner from Angel! The fact that he's tucked in, baiting them for the dash through. Second time he's caught him right after the dash. And Wolfen's got to be feeling that now, given next to no space. What a turnaround half to half for this man as well. 2v4. good luck to Koi. They've done it from similar positions, but they're completely surrounded now, boxed in.
It's Starzo and Shados. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Like, we have seen them throughout the matches they've won pull off some of the most ridiculous rounds you'll ever see. And a 2v4, I don't even know if it scratches the surface. So NAVI definitely have to be careful. They also have an awful lot of time. Still 50 seconds on the clock. Chance to isolate Jules. Bear in mind the Angel on the site is tagged low. They've got no reason to spam this. They don't want to give up where they are. But they might be able to find themselves a solo Jewel. Now, peeking into Saigetsu. Oh, they are going to see him, but the information will be shared.
Here's the flash back online. They're going to use it right into the spawn. Not working out as well as they'd hoped. 1-to-1 trades just not good enough in a position like this. But NAVI closing that out, even grabbing the upgrades to 3 rifles. They have got to have a smile on their face. The attack side of Koi under a lot of scrutiny right now. The responses just haven't been there. And you got to say, Angel, like I said, he came out of the first half just a 1 kill under. Every single one he's had so far this half has had high impact.
And that's the thing. It's always going to be something we mentioned with NAVI, that lower bracket run. But I think the bigger thing is, especially if you play them twice within a short period of time,
let's go.
You better have upgraded what you were doing. Even if you were dominant the first time around, you need to have more than that. Because there have been clear adaptations. You can see their defensive side constantly pushing and taking space, having off angles. Seen it, it's almost disrespectful trying to spam through that smoke. With a Vandal at that, almost dies to it, and probably what he deserved.
Well, they doubled up down in vents, hoping for the duel there, but Koi are making their way towards the B site. It's a little bit lighter in terms of what they have to defend with, and now the dash through gives Wolfen some control towards their spawn. Pressure on for CNED, 50 HP in towards the spawn. Nade is on its way. That could even deal damage. He has to give up the site entirely, and that leaves Sagetsu on his own. The fight in spawn's being caught. They know Wolfen's here. Angel picking off one. CNED's out onto the site to help Sagetsu. They'll fight this one together, dueling as a team. And, well, the numbers advantage certainly helped them out there. Koi get nothing. I mean, CNED was 50 HP going into that take, and he left with the same health.
Yeah. Obviously, that round going in with SMGs, weak weapons for the side of Koi, so maybe not an expected result. They would be as clean as it was, but one that I'm sure NAVI are going to be very happy with. And now you start looking at the numbers building up on that defensive side. They have a couple of buys in them no matter what. That's going to be the moment that the decision is taken to go for a pause. Try and slow things down a little bit. As said, Koi on their map choice. Pearl up next. You definitely don't want to go 2-0 down like that. Streak back is so difficult, and you're going to have much more of a chance when it comes to your own map choice. And with this composition on attack, we know they can do it. It's more so just that, firstly, well, you give me Zipan on Raze, you give me CNED on Jet, and I'm not surprised that between them they have 36 kills.
Hard to vote against them. Yeah, it is tough. And, you know, we talked about Koi. The actual storyline for this squad that even Coldamenta sold coming into LCQ that proved to be correct was the switcheroo of roles, of players going to comfort. Zipan and CNED, you know, maybe they've taken a leaf out of Koi's book in that regard, and it's certainly working. And you mentioned the fact that, you know, NAVI, they lost to Koi twice, even just in this season. The reality is, for someone like Angel, facing, as I'd said many times, he had he had never lost 3 BO3s in a row. This season he lost 4. And the only redemption he had was the match against KC, a team that most teams don't really hold in high regard. This is a matchup that would be much more legitimizing. He ain't going to come into this half-assing it, running the same stuff as before. The nade in the seas! It's gorgeous, and it's enough! Not only getting the one, but the showstopper onto Wolfen.
They had nowhere to go. That's the thing, they had nowhere to go. He basically had the nade to force them into an awkward position, then the showstopper to finish the job. It's a round as well where Koi finally had weapons. They finally had a way back in. They've been caught by a nasty NAVI set piece. And they're not stopping. Zipan's got another nade, already earning it, using it just to bait for Xiao. And you look at what's left. Starzo and Shados, I spoke about it already. Their clutch capability off the charts, but oh, it's not like their teammates have done much to help them out. There's barely a lick of damage on the other side.
Well, we're down to the Starzo flash to hope that gets him through, but he's not aware that Angel's on the back of the site. This man has been catching them off guard in every which position. With 40 seconds left, Shados as a 1v5. You might as well just start the next round. I don't think he's going to be doing anything all too much as we close this one out. The question is, can NAVI go on the hunt? Look at their economy. They've got a 6K plus on 3 players.
Yeah, it's basically maxed.
You want to find him. You want to take this weapon out of his hands.
Yeah, it's not like they've got anything like an operator even to lose just yet. And for CNED, it might even be the excuse to buy one in the next round, hunting him down. He's not going to get anything from this one. Another flawless round. I've already lost count as to how many we've had thus far. And as said, like, when you see the attack from Koi last time, it was a back and forth. I think it ended in a 6-6 half. Very close. Thus, this time, 5-0 on that defensive side. Not even remotely close. And, well, getting caught, getting stuck. Not even getting a moment's notice from the side of NAVI. They are looking like a different beast coming into today. And, well, if you weren't worried as a Koi fan before, they've just taken a second pause.
There's a lot being said by Barbar right now, let me tell you, and I don't think all of it's suitable for air. There's got to be a lot of conversations around how they're going to change this one up, because every single thing they've tried so far has been shut down. No ultis to block them out from NAVI. They haven't needed them. So far, it's just been literally a skill issue. And we need to see Koi recover on that very quickly with Pearl up next. NAVI could set themselves up for a very easy close to this series. And I don't know what Barbar is going to be cooking, but it better be something special. They come into this round with a lot of weaknesses. Close to a lot of ultimates, but even then you have to question if they would be used if they're gotten online. I think probably most of those will be obtained from deaths.
Yeah, maybe Trex can throw in a showstopper. We've seen him turn around, wolf him with a Blade Storm as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see them challenge for the orb. I'm already looking at the C's being lined up. Maybe not expecting the same thing twice. A Paranoia in tow as well. There is everything ready to be thrown in, and he's caught again. Should be able to dodge it this time out, but even still, they went pushing, they went looking, and Trex has managed to find the kill, defending his teammates, but his showstopper, it doesn't even buy them space.
No chance to touch the trigger on that one.
They're using everything.
And look, a Cosmic Divide that still leaves Heaven wide open. I mean, that's a spot being held by Xiao. You still need a smoke to cross. They put down the Poison Orb, and the Poison's just being pulled back.
They've just spammed out 3 ults, and it got them absolutely nothing.
They're in mid.
Yeah. They could have got this at the beginning of the round. They've used a showstopper. They used their Seekers, and it literally has bought them nothing. I think almost just panic using them at that point.
It seems like it. Like I said, I didn't expect to see any ults, to be honest. And I agree with you. You know, Trex gets the kill. Yeah. You think, all right, blast into sight, get the kills with it. And if it fires into Heaven, it might have gotten 2. But no chance to fire it. NAVI just a little too quick to the trigger.
The only good thing that has come out of all of this is that Starzo did manage to retrieve a gun. It was hand-delivered
30 seconds left.
by Zipan. He's been spotted, still in B main. 2 players holding on to this spot. 25 seconds to make this work.
Doing a good job at the start. They know that Xiao was around here earlier. He's the one that threw the C's out, but they won't find him in time, and he's close. 12 seconds left on the clock. They need to plant it in a spot they can be challenged from. 2 players both coming from spawn, and the smoke fades at just the right moment. Koi set up for victory. Sagetsu has to battle back. A player up and a player down. The spam, it's close, but it's not close enough. The angle a little off, and they're going to double swing this. The second he steps out, never mind, Shadow's gone already, and it comes close. But the Sheriff of Coldamenta just about buys them the round. They're going to need a deep breath after that one.
Well, you know, now looking back, 4 ults to win the round.
Great ults. I didn't doubt it for so. Once I saw them online, Tom, I knew they were going to use them.
It's so ridiculous that they managed to turn this. Wolfen being able to get that entry was everything. And again, Coldamenta just making it worse. You could see frustration on one side. That's a round again. After they use all those ults, it should have been over. It should have been done.
You can't even call a pause after a round like that. You can't tell them how much that's affecting you. The AWP is already out of the round. CNED gone. You know, out on mid behind a box is where I was going with that one, but blink and you miss it. It's down. Not even really retrievable for this squad. And that marks a first for CNED. His AWP has been so successful in the early rounds.
That one might just be the boost they need, though. that prior round, lighting the fire under Koi, winning that initial battle, and now Saigetsu under serious pressure. Caught in one of the trips, but he hasn't been able to get anything and just stuck at the back of the site, being surrounded. But Angel, Zipan looking to try and help him out. It was the start that looked wonderful, and now it's just Coldamenta. But Angel low, Spike on the site, so it almost becomes irrelevant at this point. He's going to have to take the fights, and the timing could be sublime. He isolates it into the 1v1. Him versus Zipan. 40 seconds left, so he doesn't need to rush. Can take his time and is just patiently waiting. But Zipan's not moving. Sitting back within the site.
30 seconds left.
Watching onto that spike, knowing that his opponent could come from any position and starting to work out the clock in his head, ticking, that there's only so many places that this man could be. He read it right just seconds ago, but now 15 left. Coldamenta needs to find that frag, and Zipan is watching in the right direction, but it won't be enough this time. Coldamenta pulls that one out of nowhere, and another round back-to-back that Koi have stolen from the clutches of NAVI.
This man is looking to take that throne all by himself. The last 2 rounds, he's been looking unbelievable.
10 seconds left.
One away now from NAVI on the back of a round like that, and we saw how devastating the loss of the previous round was. Now add to it that one, and Koi've got some momentum, some wind in their sails. But CNET on that operator early, he's been doing a lot. This round, they're avoiding him completely, moving towards the A site.
Coldamenta, someone who's come under serious flack for his individual ability. That round alone might have just made it worth it. We know what he brings to this team outside of that. Angel, this is so risky, but he has teammates behind him just looking to get out of there as a fake, but this time they've been ready for Xiao.
I'm not even sure. He might have been paranoid going for that kill. It looked like the blinded caught Shados, yet still he's good for the frag. Angel on the side, dancing around. He's caught a player on the back with Coldamenta. That's 3 kills already, and he's not finished just yet, looking for Trex. And now the final man of Starzo, looking to snuff out the flame, and it's CNED's up to close the round. 11 on the board for NAVI. Coldamenta had a few good rounds, so NAVI's IGL had to step it up.
That's the thing. This is what happens when he does survive that initial fight. He's going to come out with 4 kills.
He had to sacrifice Xiao now. It was like, you're going down, buddy. One of us has to.
Missed utility, though. Shados throwing that through. I don't know if that was meant to go deeper, but it seemed like it was meant to stop Angel from being able to peak the angle that he took. And because of that, teammates goes down, and from then onwards, Angel is just running riot. 11-9. Back and forth rounds, clutch rounds, big individual plays have been the story of this second half. And once again, the weaponry for Koi sucks.
And Wolfen quieting down too. We saw CNED, so many high impact rounds on that attack. It's a rare thing for a Jet. And Wolfen's experiencing the other side of it, walking through into the man himself, but the trade is there. It's Coldamenta to find that one and push Saigetsu way back out of the site. Cages mean nothing. The traps finding information, but for what? Can't follow up with the Cosmic Divide in the way, and the plant can be found safely. Trex onto Angel as well, doubling, tripling down on the advantages. Now a 4 versus 2 as NAVI desperately try to find any duel to their advantage, and they will get none.
It's actually ridiculous at how much they're able to do with so little. All it took was that initial trade, and then Coldamenta again, just putting up those numbers. It's not something we ever really talk about, but a solid trade to start. Trex alongside him as well, and they even throw a Nightfall in on the side of NAVI. They knew roughly where they were, even had them weakened, but it didn't seem to matter. What was seemingly maybe the end of that comeback after the 2-round streak and a huge round from Angel, well, it's right back on. 1 round the difference here for Koi after losing 5 in a row to start off this half.
And it's been tough for them to get back into sites. Just look at that round there. Pistols in the majority of the hands of their opponents, certainly in the hands of those who ended up taking the fights and winning them. But these players, it seems like in that moment, everybody wants to be the hero, stepping forward one at a time, slightly out of sync, and Koi take advantage of every single one of those rounds. Now pushing up to 10, the timeout for NAVI, 1 final attempt to get things lined up. And I think the key thing for me is how difficult those retakes have been. And now Koi come into this round, Viper's Pit ready to go off rip. This could be dangerous for NAVI because their lead, for the first time in a while, is under serious threat.
Yeah, no, for this half at least, definitely. Like in the last, it was much more solid for Koi, but it took them a little while to get going in this one. Bladestorm available for CNED. We've seen him pop that on a whim, and I'm sure to get to 12, they'd be relatively happy with that. And a Prowler initially thrown through, crossing paths with the Boombot. Both teams just playing that information game, and even though that Prowler was sent right into them, they've just walked up behind that Boombot. Angel, oh my god, he's about to meet the entirety of the squad. He gets two, and then Zipan's there. It was almost just the bait and switch again. Angel's risks have been rewarded quite often now in this defensive half.
Try to fight the man in vents. Just you try it.
Or a ramp. That's been working too.
A ramp's a new location for this guy. Vent's been going back 3 years. I don't know what it is about that spot, but he loves it more than any other. And he'll fight tooth and nail to keep control of it. 2v4, and it stars Shados again.
No
We've
way.
seen this. We've seen this before, and the result hasn't been great, and it won't be this time. That's the spike dropped in the open, leaving Shados. He still has his Viper's Pit, Tom, but that's about where the advantages end.
That's the thing. He picked the sort of 50-50. It was either go back to the vents or try and push towards the B site. And Zipan actually rotated all the way around from the vents to join up with his 2 other teammates who were in B heaven. So a little bit unlucky, but well, from this point onwards now for Starzo, for Shados, it just has to be holding onto the gun. Wolfen doesn't have much cash to go in with the next round, so definitely worth just keeping that extra rifle in tow. But it will mean now that on their opponent's map choice, a map that prior Koi absolutely battered Na'Vi on a 13-6 victory, Na'Vi now have 2 opportunities to take this over the line and head into their map choice of Pearl.
And you talk about a redemption arc for Na'Vi. This whole season has been setting one up. But considering game 1 of this tournament following through,
They got 9 rounds in 2 maps versus Koi last time out.
Yeah, genuinely, I think that's the worst Na'Vi have looked. That's it. The worst Angels team has looked in my memory. And I think especially adding to it the fact that was coming into that game, they were already on a record loss streak. Just unbelievable stuff for Angel, and that's more or less just been his entire career. As we saw the Vents play last time. Again, post-pause Na'Vi as well. They called a timeout. Everyone's like, yeah, you even rotate from heaven to play with your teammates. Make some stable plays, and Angels unhinged.
This is a lot more direct. Seekers popped. So much utility being expended, and Trex again already dead. But luckily that Bladestorm in hand for Wolfen. Able to find one. A second in hand for him as well. Looking for a little bit more. He's done damage. Almost caught by Saigetsu, but not quite this time. And now he has to face off against CNED. A Viper's Pit, though. There's nothing worse for an operator to face into, especially with the HP he has.
Oh, I mean, look, that's an ambitious shot to go for. 3 of them already thrown out. 29 HP. And I hope nobody spams back in return. A shot in the dark, quite literally. 5 of them, none of them landed. And it's time to get out of there, live to fight another day. They have burned up at least the Viper's Pit. The Bladestorm from Wolfen. It's off to a howler of a start in that round. Speaking of which, I don't know if you heard that, but Uli's he's brought his pet wolf to work with him today. 12-11. Koi right on their heels, and overtime possible, and who knows who can take it if we end up there. But the usage of these ultimates, Tom, it does put them...
pure ult spam. Like that round was pure ult spam.
Everything
Bladestorm, a Viper's Pit, Seekers. I think they may have even thrown the showstopper in at the beginning. I'm not sure. Oh, that was on the other side. Okay, Zipan used his showstopper. I heard it go off and saw Trex die instantly, so I wasn't even sure if he had managed to use it. That's at least close, but yeah. They basically just shredded their ults to make sure that they got themselves back to 11. So the only thing that could even be close to coming online is going to be that showstopper. Maybe that can be the difference maker for Trex. We've seen it plenty of rounds throughout this game so far. He's right at the top of the board for his team. Not quite matching up to Zipan just yet, though.
Bomb buddy out.
One kill, 1 orb. That's all that Trex is looking for. And we've seen the power of the entry, even just the space taking. With that ultimate, mid push from NAVI, 3 players here. Something Koi loved to do. We've seen it. Having a star down, pulling it back, flashing through with Starzo. But that's not the plan this time. Orb to cross, and A Heaven under threat. They like taking this control. We may just see CNED give up all of this space. But no, he's falling back onto the site. He's got his dash online, his Blade Storm, but now he's stunned up, still good for Wolfen. Updrafting around to try and dodge a potential showstopper. He does that, but he can't dodge Shados. The flank coming in. It might be a little late. The player's tucked into positions, and now it's given away, but at the cost of Shados's life. Trex on another. Falls back for a heal as well. The late flank from Coldamenta could be everything in this round. Koi desperately looking to push up to an overtime as Navi want to steal away a map that was an embarrassment for them last time around in this very series. Coldamenta's caught Zipan. His flank and Ven's perfect, and now that's got to offset this retake completely. Do you deal with him from behind? Do you rush into the site? And even then, how's the defuse going to go down? It's looking like Koi have locked themselves into an OT, just a few kills away. No mistakes to be made on this side, and with Xiao falling and Sugetsu in suit, we are pushing up to OT.
It's split, you know. It's split. It wouldn't be right if we didn't get overtimes on split, and to kick off what is hopefully going to be a banger series, taking one of these teams to champions, and the other team's year is over. Map number 1 is delivering. And with a back and forth. Well, Barber's feeling it, but the job's not done. We've seen them do this, in fact. Remember the map that we saw, them versus Giants, bring it all the way back to overtime and then instantly lose the next 2 rounds. They've got to steady themselves. The job is not done just yet, and we've already seen that Na'Vi have been a much fiercer competitor than what we've seen from them in pretty much either of the matches they had versus Koi. Although saying that, they did get an overtime the first time out. One of the longer ones we've seen this season.
Well, Na'Vi mount their attack side once again. And it's a very, very slow pace, too. It's CNED's operator, a big factor in some of the initial rounds. He won't be using it. Instead, down to the rifle. The way they've been losing Angel in a lot of early fights, it left them without smokes. Late into the round, made it difficult fighting out of heaven. This time he's with the squad as they look to make a push. Tiger going through, and it is going to spot Sugetsu. I think he wants that Tiger to see him, hopefully to draw a rotation away from the B site, Tom, but I'm looking at that map, and, well, they are all very much hunkered down, ready for this fight to come through. No one, mainly no Angel, to follow through on those initial fights. It's Wolfen up close, only 1 for him as Navi steamroll into B.
There's only 2 remaining. Trex has been good. Starzo alongside him, wary of that flank coming through, almost trying to fake things out a little bit. CNED low, but it's only Starzo left. And Zipan, once more, has gone and killed Koi, putting this 13-12 in their favor. 29 kills for him. And well, Doombros, Angel, they're going to get another opportunity. Maybe steady things a little bit. I think especially when you have a pop-off round like that for someone like Zipan, you might just need to calm down. It's like, bear in mind, we're going on to the defense.
Take a breather. You don't need to run at them.
You don't. I know you can. I know you can go and kill them all. Well, let's just make sure that we steady this ship, because as we've already mentioned, thus far, the prior series that we've had between these 2 teams, 2-0 Koi, 2-0 Koi. Now, one of them was a 2018 Lotus game, which, hey, we could potentially be seeing later in this series, but that's the fact of the matter. Na'Vi, this season, haven't even taken a map off of Koi. They've lost the 4 that have been played. So making sure they get this one over the line early, make sure they head into Pearl with an advantage, a map that we are yet to see between these 2, with Lotus and Ascent being the other options past Split. It is a big one for them. And the fact is, Koi, as we've already said, they've been fighting back into games all the way through the season. They've been fighting back into the season, in fact, after they had a huge loss streak. But now going back into this one again, CNED's operator graces the stage once more, but other than that, we've got ourselves the rifles.
Zipan looking to push up to his 30th kill moving into this. And of course the timeout, the OT timeout from Navi. Like you said, 1 extra chance to level things out. you're the side of Koi, this attack, I mean, it's been successful towards the A side. They've been going there a lot. They've been looking for early control. They found heaven time and time again without fail, bar that one round from Angel. Cena this time pushed up with an operator, but Tom, it's going to put him in a rough position if they do decide to continue that split. I'm seeing the spike outside of B, though. It looks very much like we're just getting a fake.
Yeah, they even had to pre-fire the drop down on the rope just because they might be disrespected by the likes of Angel. They're starting to double back again. I guess just checking whether or not they're pushing in this direction. Saigetsu yet to have moved with 50 seconds left on the clock. If they are going to make their run back, it would have to be soon, but I think this is all just part of a ruse.
Oh, they've realized. They've actually, I don't know what the read was there, but Zipan's staying around. They think it's still going to be B, and it couldn't be any more right. Angel standing in just the right spot. Again, catching them off, and look how quickly Zipan's going to rotate through. He's already emerging from the catwalk, and there's barely anyone left to take down. Just Trex now standing in their way of taking this map, and it's Saigetsu's triple to seal the map. 14-12 in the beginning of the redemption arc for Navi.
Well, they have the saying, what a difference a day makes. Well, maybe two in this case. 13-6, the first time we saw split picked by Koi. This time, they're on the other end. The 14-12 victory for the side of Navi. We've been waiting for quite a while now
Quite a while.